With the long-awaited Broly movie less than a month away, I think it's time that we take a look back at the Dragon Ball Super story so that we're all fully caught up and ready to go when we walk into that movie theater. I don't want to waste a lot of time here, but I gotta say before we get started that this video will contain the story for Dragon Ball Super episodes 1 to 131. It goes without saying, if you haven't seen that and you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and click off the video now. Don't worry, there'll be no spoilers for the Broly movie in this video, but we're going to touch all the important stuff from the anime and likely talk a little bit about what Broly's existence in Universe 7 means. All that and more coming up. But before I get into it, just real quick guys, my name is Dooley. You could find me at youtube.com/Dooley. But you won't just find me, you will also find a community of over 92,000 Dragon Ball Super fans alongside hundreds of videos like this one. A growing family that you are welcome to join. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button below this video or the link in the description. If you do decide to do that, then welcome to the family in advance. Now let's hop into this video. So the story of Dragon Ball Super begins about 5 years after the end of Dragon Ball Z, where Goku and Vegeta defeated Majin Buu, Kid Buu. During that 5 years, the Earth has become a peaceful place, and so Goku and Vegeta have both settled down a bit. Goku is now a farmer, trying to take care of his family, and Vegeta is doing his best to be a family man. Conveniently, in the first episode, Hercule offers Goku 100 million Zeni. This is because apparently, after Dragon Ball Z, Hercule was awarded the World Peace Prize. Obviously because all the Earthlings think that Hercule is the one who kept saving the world, and Hercule does not feel right about keeping the money because it was Goku, Vegeta, and the rest of the Z fighters doing all the work. So he offers the money to Goku. Goku accepts, which means he no longer has to support his family financially, and he heads off to King Kai's planet to train. Meanwhile, on the other side of the universe, we are introduced to some very important characters for the first time. There are a bunch of chefs on a planet of boar people, and they are making their best meals for someone. This person eats but then isn't very impressed, and so with the tap of his fingernail, he destroys half of the entire planet. Then he says he only destroyed half because the food wasn't actually that bad. We quickly find out from the Kais that this is Lord Beerus, a god of destruction, alongside his angel, Whis. Beerus is looking for something called a Super Saiyan God. And he's looking for this because he just had a very vague dream that this Super Saiyan God could possibly give him a challenging fight. After a bit of thinking, Whis reminds Beerus of the Saiyan race. Beerus remembers having the race destroyed by Frieza 40 or so years ago, and is surprised to learn that there were a few survivors, one of which has grown up and managed to defeat Frieza himself. Beerus is intrigued by this, and so he decides to pay the Saiyan a visit, and after a few minutes of traveling, Whis and Lord Beerus arrives at King Kai's planet where Goku is currently training. Goku quickly senses that Beerus is a strong opponent and challenges him to a one-on-one sparring match. During the match, Goku learns that Beerus is on a complete another level. He throws everything he has at the God of Destruction, and yet Beerus defeats him with only a fingernail. Beerus determines that Goku isn't the Super Saiyan God he was looking for and decides to travel to Earth to check in on another powerful Saiyan, Vegeta. When Beerus arrives on Earth, Vegeta recognizes him for who he is. However, Beerus is distracted because he arrived during Bulma's birthday party and is treated to all different types of Earth's cuisine. His favorite thing, food. It didn't take long though before Beerus is angered by Majin Buu, who isn't willing to share his pudding. Beerus decides to teach Majin Buu a lesson by blasting him into the ocean, which almost completely destroys Bulma's party. Bulma then gets upset and slaps Beerus. Being the gentleman he is, Beerus slaps Bulma right back, and seeing his wife hurt like this infuriates Vegeta. Vegeta loses his mind, transforms, and charges at Beerus, yelling, "My Bulma," and puts up a better fight on Earth in Super Saiyan 2 than Goku did on King Kai's planet in Super Saiyan 3. However, in the end, Vegeta is easily defeated by Beerus, and it seems like the Earth is about to be destroyed by the God of Destruction until Goku arrives. Goku asks Beerus to give him a little bit of time to find the Super Saiyan God he dreamt about, and Beerus surprisingly agreed. In order to find this God, Goku decided to summon Shenron, who told him that they needed the power of 6 righteous Saiyans. I just want you guys to make a quick note here that Shenron only knew this information because of the Namekians' Book of Legend. So it's interesting that the Namekians had more information about ancient Saiyan transformations than the Prince of all Saiyans, than Vegeta did. Anyway, let's continue. Having gathered this bit of news, Vegeta, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and the then unborn daughter of Gohan, Pan, met the requirements to give Goku their power, which allowed him to transform for the first time into a Super Saiyan God. With his newfound power, Goku was able to fight on a similar playing field to Beerus, but in the end, he was still no match for the God of Destruction. Beerus defeated Goku, but was so impressed by his tenacity that he decided to spare the Earth, also partly because he really loves the food he can get on the Earth. And this is where the first arc of Dragon Ball Super, the God of Destruction Beerus arc, ends. A couple interesting things to note about this arc is that towards the end, we learn that Whis, Beerus' angel, who we at first thought was sort of like his servant or helper, was actually Beerus' teacher and was much stronger than Beerus. Whis decided to take Vegeta as his student if Vegeta agreed to someday become the God of Destruction. And I forgot about this. Whis wanted Vegeta to become God of Destruction, but Vegeta managed to bribe Whis with offering him Earth food whenever he wanted, and Whis agreed. Anyway, let's continue with the story. The next arc is the Golden Frieza arc, and it starts with Pan, Gohan's daughter, being born. It also starts with Goku finding out that Vegeta is being trained by Whis. He gets jealous because he doesn't want Vegeta to get stronger than him and convinces Whis to train him as well. In another part of the universe, we are introduced to Sorbet, an underling of Frieza who wants to revive his master. He then travels to Earth with the intention of doing just that. Sorbet then travels to Earth, meet up with Pilaf and his gang, and manages to accomplish his goal. He uses the Dragon Balls of Earth to revive the forever evil Frieza. After his revival, Frieza displays his never-ending hatred for Goku. He lets us, the audience, know that he's never really trained a day in his life, and so using his hatred as fuel, Frieza decided to train for the next 4 months, which he suspected would be more than enough time for him to get strong enough to defeat the Saiyan monkey Kakarot. Some time passed, and then we are introduced to Jacko, a galactic patrolman, who visits Earth and warns Bulma of Frieza's arrival. This gives Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, Master Roshi, and the other Z Warriors a bit of time to meet Frieza's army at their point of arrival and stop them from causing too much damage to the Earth. The Z Fighters fought hard, but without Goku and Vegeta, this new powered up version of Frieza easily defeated them all. In fact, he almost killed Gohan. At the last minute, Bulma is able to get Whis' attention, who alerts Goku and Vegeta to what's going on, and they instant transmission to Earth to face Frieza. At first, Goku fights Frieza, and they appear to be almost evenly matched. Frieza's golden form is much stronger than any of us expected, but he did not allow himself enough time to fully control it. So Goku slowly gains the upper hand with his new Super Saiyan blue powers. However, right when he is on the verge of defeating Frieza, Goku lets his guard down and is shot from the back by Sorbet with a laser that pierces Goku's heart. This is where Vegeta joins the fight, saving Goku and pretty much defeating Golden Frieza. But not being willing to accept defeat, Golden Frieza destroys the Earth. Whis decides to give Goku a second chance at defeating Frieza by reversing time and undoing Frieza's action. Goku then charges Golden Frieza before he could destroy the Earth and kills him with a Kamehameha, thus ending the Golden Frieza arc. Let's continue. The next arc in Dragon Ball Super is the Universe 6 arc. It starts with Goku and Vegeta training on Beerus' planet. Here they meet Beerus' twin brother Champa, who is looking for something called the Super Dragon Ball. We find out that Champa is the God of Destruction from Universe 6. Not only that, we also find out for the first time that there are a total of 12 universes, and we only live on one of them, which is Universe 7. Back to Champa's goal, he was looking for the Super Dragon Balls, which were located between Universe 6 and 7. The Super Dragon Balls are almost exactly like the Dragon Balls from Earth, except They are the size of planets and they can grant you any wish without limitation. Beerus and Champa decided to hold a tournament between the strongest fighters of their respective universe. Universe 6 versus Universe 7. The winner gets the wish from the Super Dragon Ball. In this tournament, we are introduced to some strong fighters from Universe 6, the most notable being Kaba, Frost, and Hit. Kaba is a Saiyan from Universe 6. He didn't yet know how to transform into a Super Saiyan, but he already had the power level for it. He manages to do this in his fight against Vegeta. Frost is pretty much the Universe 6 version of Frieza. He isn't as strong as our Frieza, but just as evil. And Hit was the strongest fighter from Universe 6. At the time of the tournament, he was arguably stronger than Goku and had an ability called Time Skip, where for short moments he could manipulate time, allowing it to feel as if he was appearing and disappearing without much effort. Goku also revealed a new power that he's been working on during the tournament, where he combined the power of Kaioken and Super Saiyan Blue. This made for a very interesting battle between Goku and Hit, so if you haven't watched the series, you could look this fight up. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. Anyway, in the end, Universe 7 won the tournament thanks to their ace in the hole, Monaka, the strongest fighter from Universe 7. Once he got serious, Hit stood absolutely no chance. That is a complete joke. Monaka is weak as trash, but Hit turned out to be an honorable fighter who forfeited the match because of Goku's actions early in the tournament. Universe 7 won the tournament, but as an act of kindness towards his brother, Beerus wished for Earth from Universe 6 to be restored so that one day Champa could enjoy the wonderful food that Earthlings create. I should also note here that at the very end of this tournament, we are first introduced to the Omni King, Zeno. He is introduced as the one above all. He has the power to erase anything, and even Beerus and Champa, the gods of destruction, are terrified of him. He was watching the tournament, enjoyed it, and sorta kinda made friends with Goku. Anyway, the wish from the Super Dragon Ball marks the end of this arc, so let's continue with the story. The next arc, the next saga of Dragon Ball Super, is called the Copy Vegeta arc, and this one I believe is an anime only arc. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this one because it felt a bit like a filler. It wasn't that it was bad, it was actually entertaining, but it didn't add much to the story. Goten and Trunks travel to a planet where they are fighting some new fodder villains. Vegeta shows up and is infected by this parasite-like power that has taken over Vegeta's power while Vegeta's actual body starts fading away. Goku then shows up and has to fight this copy of Vegeta, and in the end, Vegeta is restored. That's the end of that arc. It's only about 5 episodes long. Again, it felt a bit like a filler, so let's continue into the Future Trunks arc, Future Trunks saga, which was super interesting for a lot of reasons. This arc starts with Future Trunks' timeline being under attack by a mysterious enemy named Black. It is revealed by the end of the first episode that Black looks exactly like Goku. Black finds and kills Trunks' mom, Bulma, and almost kills Trunks' girlfriend, Mai, right before Trunks narrowly escapes in his time machine, traveling back to the past to seek help from Goku and Vegeta. Goku Black manages to follow Future Trunks, however, back to the past, where he fights with Goku for a little bit, and at the time, Goku proves to be too much for him to handle. However, during their fight, Black was pulled back to the future. In the past, which is the timeline that we follow, Goku, Beerus, and Whis suspect that there is something weird going on with Black's power, and they travel to meet the Supreme Kai of Universe 10, named Gowasu, to figure out what was going on. There they meet the Kai's apprentice, who's named Zamasu. Zamasu was in the process of training to become a Supreme Kai himself. However, he had a strange detest for mortals. After a sparring session with Goku, who completely stomped the floor with him, Zamasu's pride was extremely hurt. Back on Earth, Vegeta and Future Trunks are having their own sparring match to see how strong Future Trunks has become. Vegeta at first is a bit disappointed, but towards the end of their sparring session, he sees the potential in his son and is proud of what Future Trunks can become. Meanwhile, Goku is summoned by Zeno, who wants Goku to play with him. Goku tells Zeno, the Omni King, that he's busy, but makes a promise that he'll return with someone for the Omni King to play with. Zeno gives Goku a button that when pressed will summon him no matter where he is. Goku then returns to Earth, and then Goku, Future Trunks, and Vegeta visit the future to fight Goku Black once again. However, upon getting to the future, Goku Black has grown much stronger than he was in his first fight with Goku. He's achieved a new power, a new Super Saiyan transformation called Super Saiyan Rose. Goku Black seems uninterested and is able to easily defeat Vegeta and Goku. He is also accompanied by a future version of Zamasu, who in this timeline is invincible. We then get to learn a bit about the mystery of Goku Black and Zamasu. It turns out that the Zamasu of the future timeline collected all 7 Super Dragon Balls and wished for his body to be made invincible. He also corrupted the Zamasu of another timeline, Future Trunks' timeline, who used the Super Dragon Balls of that timeline and wished to switch bodies with Goku. While in Goku's body, Zamasu proceeded to kill Goku's family as Goku, Chi-Chi, and Goten, and begun his diabolical plan to erase all mortals from existence. During this first run-in with Goku Black Rose and Invincible Zamasu, Goku, Vegeta, and Future Trunks lost. It was too much for them to handle. They had to make their way back to the time machine and back to the past, back to our timeline. After learning about Zamasu's plan, Beerus and Whis revisited Universe 10, catching Zamasu in the act of killing his mentor, Gowasu. Beerus proceeds to destroy Zamasu using Hakai energy and assures Goku that once Zamasu is destroyed using destruction energy, he should be erased simultaneously through all parallel timelines, meaning that the future is now safe. To be sure, Goku, Vegeta, Gowasu, and our Supreme Kai accompanied Future Trunks back to the future, where they found out Beerus was incorrect. He was wrong. Zamasu and Goku Black were not affected by the Zamasu of our time being stopped and destroyed. So now a very interesting rematch takes place. Vegeta versus Goku Black Rose, and Goku, our Goku, versus Invincible Zamasu. I should also mention here real quick that because the team knew Zamasu was invincible, they were planning on using an old technique by Master Roshi called Mafuba to seal Zamasu into a jar pretty much for infinity. Let's just say that plan didn't work out, but back to the rematch. Goku and Vegeta are performing better than they did the first time, and it almost looks like they are on the verge of defeating Goku Black and Zamasu respectively. However, the two fuse using Patara earrings, creating a Super Zamasu who was also invincible himself. This really placed Goku and Vegeta in a bad situation, but at this point Future Trunks had already stood up and unlocked a new power of his own, a power similar to the strength of Super Saiyan Blue. However, the 3 Saiyans fighting against Super Zamasu were still being pushed back, and this is where Goku and Vegeta decided to use the Kai's Patara earrings to fuse. And for the first time since Dragon Ball Z, we get to meet the infamous Vegito again. Now, Vegito is just as strong as Super Zamasu, possibly even stronger. However, there's one fatal flaw to his fusion. There's a time limit, and the amount of power that he's using is causing that time limit to become even shorter. So in the end, Vegito is unable to defeat Super Zamasu because of that time limit. However, Future Trunks really steps up, really pushes his new abilities to the limit, and manages to slice Super Zamasu in half. That isn't the end of Zamasu, however, because after getting sliced in half, Zamasu spreads his entire essence around that universe, and in some weird, not fully explained way, was still on the verge of accomplishing his goal. Until Goku remembered that button that Zeno the Omni King gave him. Goku pressed the button, and then Zeno from that timeline, Future Zeno, showed up. Now, this Zeno had never met Goku, but after seeing what Zamasu was doing, he decided he was going to erase the entire universe, or possibly even the entire multiverse, and that's exactly what he did. He erased everything. Goku, Vegeta, Future Trunks, and company, they barely managed to make it to the time machine and escape the destruction, making their way back to the past once more. That's pretty much where this arc ends, with the exception of a few things. Remember I told you that Goku promised our current Zeno that he would find him a friend to play with? Goku realized that the Zeno of the future must be pretty lonely since he's erased everything, so he used the time machine to go grab that Zeno, bring him back to our timeline, and introduced him to our Zeno, and now we have two Omni Kings to keep each other entertained. Also, to complete the Future Trunks saga, Whis found a timeline for the only two survivors from Future Trunks' timeline, Mai and Future Trunks. He found a timeline where Bulma wasn't dead, where Black didn't get to spread his influence. Trunks and Mai travel to that timeline where it seems like they're going to live out the rest of their days. Overall, this arc created a lot of questions. Some of them felt a bit unanswered. It always gets muddy when you're dealing with timelines and the same character multiple times. But overall, it introduced some very memorable characters like Goku Black. It definitely made Future Trunks relevant again, and the story was extremely entertaining to watch. All that being said, let's move on to the final arc of Dragon Ball Super as of right now, the Universe Survival Arc. So, the Universe Survival Arc starts with Goku being bored and wanting to get stronger. He remembers that Zeno wanted to have a tournament similar to the one that Universe 7 had against Universe 6. Instead, Zeno wanted to have this tournament between all 12 universes. The idea of fighting the strongest fighters from all these universes was just too much on Goku's mind, and so he decided he wanted to convince Zeno to have this tournament happen. Beerus tries to warn Goku to tell him that Zeno isn't someone to casually have these kinds of conversations with, since he's so powerful, but Goku doesn't care and asks Zeno about the tournament anyway. And so, to help fight his boredom, the Zenos agree that this tournament should happen. However, there was a huge catch. Any universe that loses the Tournament of Power would immediately be erased. Now, all 12 universes didn't have to compete in the tournament. A total of 4 universes were exempt. Still, Zeno's penalty meant that out of the 8 competing universes, 7 of them were to be erased. Trillions of lives erased, all because of Goku's desire to have this tournament. Now, for Zeno's entertainment, the Grand Priest, who is the angel that watches over Zeno in the same way Whis watches over Beerus, the Grand Priest decided that there should be a preliminary match between Universe 9 and 7. And for this, we had a few episodes of an interesting fight between 3 of the top fighters from Universe 9, whose names were Bergamo, Lavender, and Basil, versus Majin Buu, Gohan, and Goku. Universe 7 ultimately won this fight, partly because Goku and Majin Buu completely outclassed their opponents. This is where we met a lot of the other gods of destructions and their angels for the very first time. It's also where a lot of these powerhouses learned that Goku was the cause of this tournament, which made a lot of them come to resent him. So much so that at the end of this preliminary match, Goku was stopped by a fighter from Universe 11 named Toppo. Toppo was introduced as a candidate to become God of Destruction for Universe 11 and wanted to have his own match with Goku. And although Toppo was much closer to Goku in power, it was obvious that Goku was still a bit stronger, especially in his Super Saiyan Blue form. Toppo then told Goku that it doesn't matter that he's stronger than him. There is simply no way that he can defeat a fighter from his universe, from Universe 11, named Jiren. We later on found out that Jiren is even stronger than the God of Destruction from his universe, from Universe 11. But as expected, the prospect of fighting someone that strong did nothing but excite Goku. Before I continue, I want to mention here that we find out at some point that Zeno planned on erasing these universes anyway because of something he called a mortal level. All of these universes had a mortal level lower than what Zeno found acceptable. And so Goku's request to have this tournament actually gave these universes a fighting chance to survive. By the way, I should also mention that the universes that lose would also have their gods of destruction erased, but not their angels. The angels were exempt from erasure. So all these universes were tasked with finding their 10 strongest fighters respectively, and I'm just going to list off the 10 fighters from Universe 7, our universe, and a few notable others in the tournament because it'll take too long to list everyone. So the fighters chosen for the Universe 7 team were Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Buu, Gohan, Krillin, Master Roshi, Tien, Android 18, Android 17. Buu fell into a deep sleep right before the tournament and could not be woken up, and he was replaced with no other than Frieza. Some notable and memorable fighters from the other teams were obviously Hit, Frost, and Kaba returned from Universe 6. We also saw the addition of Kale and Caulifla, who were 2 female Saiyans from Universe 6. Kale was particularly interested because she possessed a power similar to Broly. The power of the legendary Super Saiyan, which would cause her to go berserk, get super buff and much more powerful and want to destroy anything in her path. We also had Ribrianne, who was another notable fighter from Universe 2. We had a team with very interesting robot fighters from Universe 3. And of course we had the myth, the man, the legend himself, Jiren, from Universe 11. The Tournament of Power was one of the most exciting arcs of Dragon Ball Super so far, with various high points. One being the fight between Goku and Kefla, who is a fusion between Kale and Caulifla of Universe 6. There was also another very entertaining fight between almost all the members of Universe 7 and a fusion between the robot members of Universe 3, who formed this amazing, incredibly powerful being called Anilaza. But by far the most entertaining thing about the Tournament of Power was the struggle between Team 7 and Jiren. Jiren pushed Goku and Vegeta far beyond their limits, forcing Goku to unlock a new technique that he had been training with Whis to learn how to accomplish, something called Ultra Instinct, and later on mastered Ultra Instinct. This technique was so powerful that even the gods of destruction have a hard time learning it. He also pushed Vegeta to achieve a new level of Super Saiyan Blue power. Jiren was just incredibly strong, and there's very little that I can say in this summary to really give you a full sense of how imposing he was, especially at the beginning of the tournament. If you only have time to watch one arc, one saga of Dragon Ball Super, I would recommend that after this video, watch the Tournament of Power starting at about episode 100 all the way to episode 131. Anyway, the Tournament of Power ended with Goku, Frieza, and Android 17 managing to very narrowly defeat a powered up Jiren. Android 17 was the final fighter left on the platform for the Tournament of Power, and thus he was granted the honor of making a wish from the Super Dragon Balls, and he wished for all the universes erased by Zeno to be restored. This was an interesting wish because it raised the possibility that universes that were destroyed by Zeno prior to the Tournament of Power may have also been restored. We're just gonna have to wait and find out if that's true. Episode 131 of Dragon Ball Super ended with Frieza going back to his evil ways and reuniting the Frieza Force. All the universes that were erased in the Tournament of Power slowly popping back into existence, and appreciating the fact that Goku and company wished them back. Goku telling Vegeta that he doesn't know how to push himself into Ultra Instinct, and the two Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, continuing their never-ending quest to get stronger. So there you have it. Now you're all caught up. 131 episodes explained. The final thing I want to mention in this video is that Broly being introduced to the main series of Dragon Ball Super, to the canon, means that the Dragon Ball Super world is still growing. There are still so many unanswered questions, and adding Broly to the mix means that we can expect Dragon Ball Super to continue far into the future when it returns in 2019. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, hit me with a hashtag BrolyForever in the comments below. Thank you guys for all the support. I will be talking to you again real soon. Bye.